What is something that blew your mind once you realized it? Nuclear power plants are just steam power plants that use nuclear reactions to heat the water. There's no fancy magic extracting energy directly from the nuclear material. They just boil water and spin a turbine. Virtually all electricity is from spinning a magnet. The Roman Empire fully fell less than 50 years before the discovery of the New World. The Romans also had copper wire, magnets, and battery acid. They could have invented electricity hundreds of years before it was actually discovered. But they didn't. The wire was used for jewelry, the magnets as lodestones, and the battery acid was used to clean the rust off of swords. Well, they are just dumb then. It was even named battery acid. They should have taken the hint. One day I sat on a tram, passing a river. There was a duck in a tree. I realized I've never seen ducks in trees. No one else seemed to notice, but I was puzzled. Now whenever I come across something that seems intuitive, but I have never considered, I call it a duck in a tree. That you could legitimately travel at warp speed through the center of galaxies and never run any real risk of hitting a star. That's how spread out space really is. It's crazy how spread out atoms are too. Matter is 99.99% empty space. They were colonizing the Wild West the same time as they were building skyscrapers in Manhattan. I always think of them taking place 80 to 100 years apart. It's wild. Custer's last stand happened during the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. Difference between a million and a billion. Someone explained it in terms of time. A million seconds is 11 days and a billion seconds is almost 31 years. I knew a billion was a lot more, but damn, this put it in perspective. The difference between a million and a billion is almost a billion. I got really high and started thinking about our modern life. Clean potable water on tap, living in air-conditioned houses with multiple rooms, able to drive around in a machine capable of carrying thousands of pounds, able to go experience food from around the world with little difficulty, able to flush away your waste with water, not have it just build up and putrefy somewhere, but be treated, cleaned, and recycled. Able to talk to people across the world in real time. Even if it is expensive, the medical capacity we have in the first world is astounding. When you realize that we are all living like mini kings with our luxury, you start to appreciate it more. It blew my mind just how much we take for granted. Hot showers is definitely one people really do not appreciate. I think about this all the time. It is absolutely magical to be alive in 2023. Our ancestors' heads would explode if they could taste ice cream with warm chocolate chip cookies on top. The speed of light is consistent in relativity no matter how fast you are traveling because of the effects speed has on time and gravity. If you are traveling at 99% the speed of light, then the light you emit from a flashlight would appear to be traveling away from you at the speed of light because your time is slowed. Similarly, and more basically, that light does not experience time. From a photon's point of view, even if it travels the breadth of the universe, it's emitted and absorbed at the same time. That lungs look more like sponges rather than two pockets of air. I have 2 lung diseases, and when I first found out and started going to my pulmonologist, he told me this. He said sponges have a lot of cavities, that's how lungs are. I found it very interesting. Being poor is very, very, very expensive. Once you have a decent amount of money and no debt, it's very easy to live super cheap. Once you have the money to buy things, it's much easier to say no to those things. When I found out a large percentage of people walk around all day without an inner monologue, it really messed with me. How do you think? Do you think? How do you make decisions? I learned this a few years ago. I still can't wrap my head around it. The biggest thing about this for me is, what happens inside their heads when they read silently? When I read these words, and as I type, I hear what is sort of my own voice in my head. And I can hear other people's voices in my head too. Text from a friend, their voice. I listen to Dan Carlin a lot, so when I read his book, I hear his voice, even his quote voice. Or if someone says, I heard that in, insert famous person here voice, then when I read it I hear that person's voice, Morgan Freeman or David Attenborough, for example. Pace, inflections and all. Wait, what the fuck? People don't hear themselves talking to themselves in their head nonstop, or am I misunderstanding this? I hold full conversations with myself in my head nonstop while being silent to everyone around me. I don't get it. people just have silence. Jesus Christ, now I'm going to talk to myself about this. We went from first plane to the moon inside of 66 years. Yeah, that one blows my mind too. Lots of people who were alive when the first airplane flew lived long enough to see a man on the moon. That every time you shuffle a deck of cards, it's extremely likely that no deck of cards in history has ever been in the same order you just shuffled your deck to. It's not just unlikely, it's probably never happened. It would take longer than the age of the universe, on average, for two shuffles to result in the same order. Sometimes it is more important to like your colleagues than the actual job. I had shitty jobs with the most amazing colleagues and had shitty colleagues and the most amazing job. I'd pick the first every time. That stripper poles spin. Only some of them spin. They also have stationary poles. When you lose weight, most of it ends up as carbon dioxide, which is exhaled from your lungs. Yup, you go to the gym and you're just breathing in everyone else's fat, lol. Well, it may sound stupid as fuck, but when I was 11 I realized that moon reflects sun's light. It doesn't glow on its own, and that night staring at it was a whole new experience. Kind of similar, but a pupil is just a hole into the eyeball. That people that are blind from birth don't see black or nothing, they see with their eyes what you see with your elbow. Remember what it felt like to not be born yet. That's probably what being dead feels like. It's so hard to wrap my brain around that, I just can't imagine it. Close both eyes, you see black. Now close just one eye, and tell me what you see with that eye. Owl's silent flight. I mean, I always knew that, but a while ago was the first time I actually witnessed it. Owl came flying towards me and landed only a few feet away, and you couldn't hear anything. Crazy. I saw a barn owl swoop down and catch a mouse while hiking at night, and the whole thing happened in complete silence. It gave me a deep sense of unease, because it was literally like someone hit the mute button on life. Mercury is on average the closest planet to any other planet in our solar system. It's so crazy to think that a billion different things had to happen and happen in just the right way for us to even exist. Like, isn't it crazy to think that not only are we living, breathing organisms, but we also exist with other living, breathing organisms that look nothing like us, and some that look very similar to us, and have even been around for much longer than us from an evolutionary standpoint? And not only that, but if we look up at the night sky, we can see the universe with our own eyes. One day we are created, then we open our eyes and we exist and we breathe air for the first time, and then one day, hopefully a long way down the road, some of us will just close our eyes and that's it. The curtains close and the lights go out, and we have done all that we can in our lifetime. But at that exact moment that we die, someone else is getting the chance at life and is born. It's crazy to me. It's fascinating. We hit the jackpot on pure existence, and we take it for granted every single day. There is so much to see and do, and we scoff at it like it's old news and think we have all the time in the world to experience the world around us. But it isn't. It really isn't. Time is long, but it's so short too. Poison dart frogs aren't poisonous in captivity. I own 5 of them, and anytime I tell someone I own some I always get, "Do you ever lick them?" Or, "Can you go kill someone with them?" But yeah, they get their poison from what they eat, and all I give them is fruit flies. When things are messy or bad, not only do the adults that will figure things out never actually show up, but as you age, people assume you're now the adult who will figure things out. Please do not keep reminding me of that. Alcohol is really poison. The reason it works at all, getting drunk, is your body can only process so much at a time. What can't be processed causes the drunken state. Vomiting while drunk means that your body thinks it's being poisoned, and it wants to get rid of the poison. Earth is the only planet in the observable universe that we know of whose only moon is simultaneously 1/400th of the size and at 1/400th of the distance of its sun, making it the only known planet capable of having perfect eclipses. It's a very cool coincidence, if you asked me. If you earn 50,000 euros a year, starting directly after school, and are working for 40 years until you retire, that's only 2 million euros. This 2 million includes your whole life. Every holiday you ever make. Every gift you ever gave. Every car you ever bought. Your wedding, your house, your kids' Christmas presents. Everything. And yet there are people out there who buy cars worth 2 million or even more. Ever heard someone making 10 millions? That's 5 times your life. A billion? That's the lives of a whole town. Even if you are double the income, there are people out there who could buy your life 1,000 times. That my girlfriend, now wife, actually, genuinely loves me. I sincerely thought I was unlovable until that point. When I learned about the 20/80 rule, my life was turned upside down. It says that 20% effort produces 80% results, but 80% effort produces only 20% results. I couldn't believe it at first, but when I set a goal of sticking to the rule for a week, to test it, I realized that my productivity was much higher because my time is now limited. I stopped wasting time and tried to get things done as quickly as possible so I don't have to stretch it out all day. As a result, I have more free time for myself and my family, as well as hobbies and additional education. What is something that blew your mind once you realized it? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.